So, Lord Justice Holroyd won't let Lucy Connolly out on licence. Apparently she's far too dangerous to walk free, unlike actual child rapists who he's been letting out like he's been sponsored. If he is sponsored for letting out cretins and cutting sentences of total scum, then he's probably well on the way to curing both heart disease and cancer with his sponsorship forms. This is a man, after all, who let Nazir Ahmed, the Labour MP, who raped, was it a 15-year-old boy or was it a 9-year-old boy? Does it really matter? He's a world-class kiddie fiddler. He cut his sentence by 3 years. But then again, I guess that Holroyd reasoned, well, at least he hadn't said hurty words on the internet. Since Lucy's been in prison, 17th of October 2024, over 200 paedophiles have walked free from court. Starmer doesn't know anything about Lucy's case, but then again he didn't know anything about Jimmy Savile's case when he was head of the DPP. He didn't know anything about the grooming gangs when he was head of the DPP, although there is one case that he always brings up. That was probably a case that couldn't be shoved under the files for community cohesion. He's a total piece of scum. We know all what Starmer is, and his Minister of Justice, what's her name? I can't remember now, Shahid Mahmood or something. She's just a total waste of space. I think you haven't got to be too much of a psychic to know how she got in the position that she is and why she's not saying anything about the Lucy Connolly case. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm ashamed of this country. What Lucy Connolly said wasn't very nice. But if you read it, she says, for all I care. She wasn't inciting anything. I'm not a judge. I'm a normal bloke in the street. And I knew that wasn't inciting. That was a mother who probably still had undiagnosed mental problems because she'd lost her own child, venting after 3 children had been absolutely butchered by a Rwandan asylum seeker's son who'd been radicalised, although no one was allowed to say that at the time, for community cohesion. It's an absolute disgrace. How the rest of the Labour Party aren't up in arms about this political prisoner. How the judges, these cretins in wigs, these absolutely perverted, perverse imbeciles who are either acting for political reasons or lack of common sense, think that was incitement. I just don't know. It wasn't very nice, and I'm afraid if you're going to have free speech in a country, it works both ways. We've seen Gary Lineker come out with an anti-Semitic tweet. We've seen Ricky Jones, the Labour councillor, saying that people should have their throat cut. Now, I didn't take that literally, but if I was a judge, if I was one of these cretins, if I was one of these people who should not hold any office at all, apart from maybe in a skip, if I was one of those educated, politicised morons, I might think, yes, that's incitement. And if I thought Lucy Connolly was incitement, Ricky Jones definitely is. I'll be watching with interest. He's walking free at the moment, by the way. You can incite people to cut throats, but if you say you can set their hotels on fire for all I care, that's a prison sentence, 31 months. In North Korea, maybe. But if Starmer really has such a lack of interest in free speech, or behind the scenes is politicising this and holding her as a political prisoner, we, the British public, need to do something. If these MPs just won't speak up for common sense and what's right, and just let a total immoral, it would appear, and if the rumours are true, demonic, basically, hedonistic piece of shite Starmer, they won't speak up against someone like that, a compulsive liar, then they don't deserve to be there either. I've said people should start looking at small parties and independents, because all these people, Labour, Tories, Lib Dems, Plaid Cymru, SNP, Reform, they've all got the same puppet masters behind them. We need to get Lucy Connolly released. We need to get anyone else that's in there, sat in prison for hurty words, released. And we need to start putting some of these paedophiles behind bars to protect our children. I always thought the first thing that anyone should do is protect the children from people like Starmer and these judges, not to mention the sickos that commit these crimes, if they're a different set of people. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and try the video a like.